welcome to this ninth meeting of Rotary Interactive Quarantine. I am so excited to see you all today. My name is Annie. I was a Rotary Youth Exchange student from Venezuela in the United States. I'm also a member of 2 Interact clubs in both countries and one member of the leadership team of Rotary Interactive Quarantine. We are so excited to have you today, and let's start this meeting. As always, we have little things that we want to share with you all. But before starting this, I would love for you to please put in the chat where you are. Like, I am in the United States and my name is this. To introduce yourself in the chat and type what makes you happy this morning in the chat. So you can say, I am happy today because I wake up early and then, I don't know, I had a great cup of coffee. I would love to see what makes you happy today. If you can put that on the chats, that will be awesome. All right, that's not related with the meeting, but you know, happiness. So little reminders, we would love for you to join in our next meeting, September 19th. We have 2 meetings every month, the first Saturday of the month and the third Saturday of the month. It's at the same time, all the time. So you can find the link for our next meeting in our website. And if you would like to watch our past meetings, you can look in our YouTube channel. That being said, you can also schedule a presentation for your Rotary Club, Rotaract Club, or Interact Club about what is RIQ. You can, we do like presentations sharing with everybody in the world what we are doing and how Rotary Youth is making a difference everywhere. Be sure that your club is registered in Rotary Interactive Quarantine in the platform. If your club is not, you can go to our website and register your club. And also, you can sign up your club or yourself to be main speaker in one of our meetings. So you can go to our website or look at this QR code and sign up to be speaker in one of our meetings. Alrighty, so that being said, I'm gonna leave Lucila to talk to you a little bit about our training seminars.
Hello everyone, and I hope you have a beautiful morning, evening, or night, because we have a special guest that is in night. So a little reminder about the training seminars. We have next training seminars on September 12th. The first session, as you all know, is 10 a.m. Central Time, as usual. We have the topic Club Running by Ali Kite. And also we have the second session for the ones that can't join on this first session at 4 p.m. Central Time with topic Rotary History with Dr. Brother. So I hope you all join. The links will be sent next week. So I hope you all can register and excited to be there.
Thank you, Lou. I appreciate that. I think the interpretation mode is on right now. So yes, you guys can hear in Spanish, French, or Portuguese our meeting in live translation. Speaking of languages, we are gonna have breakout sessions after the meeting where you can meet other people in smaller groups. So if you don't feel comfortable talking in English, like speaking in English, I will highly recommend for you to put an SP if you speak Spanish before your name. If you don't feel comfortable talking in English and you prefer to speak in Spanish, you can put an SP before your name, so we will add you to a Spanish speaker breakout room, if that makes sense. All right, same, we're gonna type everything on the chat. So you're welcome to read in all these languages. All right, so let's start officially our meeting number 9. I can't believe we have been meeting so many times. We have very special people today. We have a district in Mexico, a club from Mauritius in Africa, and our very, very special guest speaker, Miss Melanie. And I want to personally thank her in behalf of Rotary Interactive Quarantine and everybody here, because it's 1 a.m. for her. And it's really late, and she's doing a huge effort to be here with us, and we really appreciate that. I am gonna introduce her. It's my pleasure to introduce Miss Melanie Lewis, who is gonna talk about how to design a greener future. I don't even know her, and I already love her. She's from Australia. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Biology, and now she's a Ph.D. candidate in Climate Change Innovation Management. Her district is 9685, and she's the environmental officer. Well, of course she is. You can see here a funny picture of her that I really love, and I wanted to put there. And I am just so excited to introduce her, and thank you, Miss Melanie, for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
It's a bit slow loading. Okay, so thank you for the introduction. I love that photo. It's from just a couple of years ago, actually. I was working as a marine mammal keeper at Taronga Zoo, which is Sydney's biggest zoo and probably the most well-known zoo in Australia. And I was very lucky to be hanging out with the seals, so I love doing that sort of thing. But today I'm going to talk to you about how to design a greener future through your work life, and we're going to introduce some concepts I hope that are really novel to you. So hopefully you want to save the world, and I join you with that one. We're going to look at how to be a verb, which doesn't make any sense yet, but hopefully it will in a few moments. Look at a couple of people that are inspirational to me and have been very inspirational or impacted the world and helped design a greener future. We'll look at the 7-point pledge, the decade of action, some future of work skills that will all apply to you guys as youth. A little bit about the Rotary Toolbox on how to sort of apply all those things, and then hopefully I'll have some time at the end to answer some questions that you may have. So let's get into it. So it's funny, when I was putting together this slide and when I looked at my LinkedIn profile and when people ask me what I do, I can never answer that. So, and that's because I haven't just been a marine biologist in traditional science. I'm now a researcher in social science, but as Annie pointed out, I've done a lot of other things as well. I've worked at the zoo. I've worked at Ocean World, which is a bit like Sea World, as an aquarist, where I got to hang out with turtles and feed fish. I've been a barista making coffees, worked as a manager in a cafe, and all these things along the way. And the one thing that has tied them all together, no matter what I did, was my passion for the environment and protecting the natural environment. And so I like to think of myself as an ecosystems thinker, and that's really summed up for me in this funny quote: always think like a fish, no matter how weird it gets. So that might make you laugh a bit. But to me, it's all around empathy, and empathy is really important in design, particularly where you're putting yourself in the shoes of the problem owner and then trying to solve for their problems. So in that sense, you know, if I'm entering the water, I'm thinking like a fish, and therefore I can really research the fish from their perspective. Hopefully that makes a bit more sense to you. But it got me really thinking for you guys that we could explore this concept. And it was only a few days ago I came across this really great quote. And it's by Stephen Fry. You may have come across him before. He's a comedian and actor. And he said this: Oscar Wilde said that if you know what you want to be, then you inevitably become it. That is your punishment. But if you never know, then you can be anything. There is truth to that. We are not nouns, we are verbs. I am not a thing, an actor, a writer. I am a person who does things. I write, I act, and I never know what I am going to do next. I think you can be imprisoned if you think of yourself as a noun. So this is a really interesting concept. So I'd really like you to think now, which verb are you? And verbs are words that are, they describe actions. So I've put together a list for you. Build, construct, create, spearhead, supervise, guide, educate, improve, revitalize, modernize, visualize, recommend. So you might be able to identify some things there that really appeal to you. If you were going to take action in anything, which words might really resonate with how you take that action? For me, I tend to be sort of, I think, I create, I do, I educate. And so once you've got those in your mind, let's explore some sort of careers, I guess, that would align with those. So if you're a I like to build sort of person, you might look at engineer, inventor, or architect. If it's an I construct, maybe a tradesperson, or maybe it's just someone working with Lego. I create, a designer, an inventor, an entrepreneur. I spearhead, a thought leader. I supervise, of course, would relate to management. I guide, a tourist operator. And I've done that too. I was a trekking guide through the mountains in Tasmania in southern Australia, a small island off our southern shores. You might identify with I educate, which would be aligned with teaching or academia or researching. And it might be I improve, which again relates to innovation, entrepreneurship, a career in executive management, say. I revitalize, a conservation officer or a landscaper. I modernize, a town planner, a futurist, or even a blogger might fit into that category. And the last two, I visualize, might correspond with a strategic director, say in a company, or a communicator in media, or a designer. And I recommend would be ambassador, advocate, influencer, so even on social media, or an activist, of course. So you can see these are all really varied roles, but you can really do any of those and start helping our planet in any of those roles. So whatever you align with. So why do we need a greener future? Beyond COVID, climate change poses one of the biggest risks to our future, and that threat will be felt most by those that are least responsible for the predicament we find ourselves in. And these are generally people that are already vulnerable to deep-rooted challenges such as poverty. And just to rehash, because it's my area now with my PhD, I guess the basic mechanics of climate change are obviously carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which traps heat. So more carbon dioxide means more trapped heat. So scaling that up over the entire planet, these physical processes interact in many different and unexpected ways. The white ice in the Arctic, for example, reflects sunlight back into space. We've got clouds that can either trap heat or cause cooling of the area that they shade. Forests store lots of carbon, but we cut them down, we burn them, they get burnt in fires, or even the warming caused by the trapped heat can work to kill them off as well. So that's what we call a positive feedback loop. And oceans, of course, soak up lots of heat and carbon dioxide, but it can't absorb this forever. And add to the complexity, that these effects are not linear. That means they don't all increase incrementally together. Some may taper off as the planet heats up, whilst others may suddenly accelerate and take off after a tipping point is reached. So it's not all doom and gloom though. I didn't want to go through that and make you feel really bad. So on a more positive note, climate change actually creates huge opportunities for innovation. And this is why I've shifted now from being in biology, where I was describing the problems, to innovation, where I'm helping to come up with the solutions. And the innovation isn't just in technology, it's in creating your future job roles. So we need to enhance our capabilities for action, and in your age group, it's really important that you build those skills out. But how do you do that? So let's explore some unlikely heroes that have helped design a greener world through their work. A lot of people haven't heard of these people. I love this guy, Richard Buckminster Fuller. He's a very unlikely hero. He was born in 1895, and he died in 1983. So I was 4 then, but don't tell anyone that. And he's one of my favorite inspirations. Like I said, you can call him Bucky for short, and that will probably stick. You can see his title wasn't a singular noun: architect, philosopher, futurist. He designed, he created, he theorized, he educated. So they're probably his best verbs, if you put it in those terms. And he's widely recognized as being one of the first architects to bring the concept of sustainability into widespread use. So that was a really pivotal point in history. And what he's best known for is geodomes. So you'll see, if I go back again, in the background of this picture, a really elaborate design. This is what Bucky, his most amazing work in his career was based on these geometric shapes that formed domes, or they were like golf balls scattered around the place. And this one in particular is called the Montreal Biosphere. And what's really cool about Bucky is that he was really a precursor to what we know now, which is this line of thinking that waste is actually a design flaw. So we design things without considering the waste at the end of those designs. And he was really wise for his time in that he knew that natural resources were largely finite and that we needed to add value to them. And I really like this quote, which you can see there, which is, pollution is nothing but the resources we are not harvesting. We allow them to disperse because we've been ignorant of their value. And those words are words that we need to revisit when we design for a greener future, even today. So he was way ahead of his time. The next person I wanted to introduce you to is Roberto Burle Marx, and he was born in 1909 and died in 1994. So at that point I was in high school. And his verbs would be create, educate, improve, maybe revitalize, visualize, recommend, jack of all trades. And his landscape gardens were inspired by his time spent in the Brazilian forest. He actually is responsible for discovering some 40 new species, and then all named after him. So you could probably add to that list botanist as well. And he was really, interested in, there's a bit of a delay. Not working. So he, sorry. Oh, it's going crazy. I hope you can still hear me. He was really interested in the characteristics of single plants and what effect they'd have on the garden as a whole design. And his designs pursued depth by understanding interactions between animals and plants, like we see and like he saw in the Brazilian forests. And he's most famous for his work in public spaces. So he believed that public spaces had an important ability in providing, in his own words, dignity for the masses. And he concentrated a lot of his effort in these public spaces. And you might know one of these. I gave you a hint when I flicked the slide. And this is the Copacabana Promenade in Rio de Janeiro. So you can see these wavy, this wavy pavement. It's known all around the world. And there were these there's clumps of palm trees. So very simple design, but really effective. And he really used these clumps of plants that he'd see in the real world and then mimic in his garden designs. And what's really interesting about this place is it became the Live Earth site, which was a benefit concert that went around to different countries in 2007, and it served to raise awareness of climate change. Back in 2007, I was a marine biologist by then, and the concerts were actually the launch pad of the Live Earth call to action, supported by Al Gore, where attendees were asked to support something called the 7-Point Pledge, which is really interesting, and I think we should revisit that today. So this was an action plan that still holds its value, and you'll likely recognise some of its goals in today's environmental discourse. It asked people to demand that their country join an international treaty. So the most recent one that we're looking at now is obviously the Paris Agreement, with the aim of cutting global emissions by half. It also emphasised taking personal action to reduce individual CO2 footprints and offsetting what remained after you took these actions. It encouraged people to fight for a moratorium on constructing new coal plants. That means like a ban on constructing new coal plants unless they had the ability to trap and store carbon dioxide. And we're still working on that technology right now. So that's 13 years later. And it also asked people to pledge the planting of new trees and join others to preserve and protect forests. So we all still work towards that, and Rotary also contributes to that as well. And work towards a dramatic increase in energy efficient homes, offices, schools, transportation. And lastly, a really important one that we can all improve on always is buying from businesses and supporting leaders who share the commitment to building a sustainable and just and prosperous world for the 21st century. So the 7-Point Pledge back in 2007 was a super ambitious set of goals to achieve in a time frame they set of 3 years. And we didn't do very well on it. But in 2015, the UN launched the most ambitious collaborative action plan to improve the planet in all of human history. And you've no doubt come across that one. And it's the United Nations SDGs, or the Sustainable Development Goals. So now it's the year 2020, and this is known as the very beginning of the decade of action. So climate models establish really compelling evidence that we have to make massive changes by 2030, and the SDGs are designed to help us achieve that. So how can you help? Well, that's the most important part. So there's some great research coming out of an organisation called the Foundation for Young Australians, and it's identified this list of skills that you guys will need in order to confront the challenges and complexities of your work life. And they can be all used towards designing a greener future, obviously. So problem solving, communication, digital literacy, teamwork, so that includes collaboration, financial literacy, creativity, critical thinking, and presentation skills. So we can always all improve on those. And what they found is there's been this 70% increase in demand for these skills. And they've also found, just on a side note, that people going for jobs where these skills are mentioned in the job adverts actually get paid more. So there's an added incentive. And you might hear these skills described as soft skills or 21st century skills. And like I said before, they're all transferable characteristics that will enable you to engage with the complex world and help solve for all these challenges that you're inheriting from previous generations. So by contrast, any licenses, certificates, university degrees, they're called technical skills, and they're specific to a particular task or a particular role or industry. Although in universities, we're getting much better at increasing the introduction of opportunities to engage in building this list out for you, because they recognise, obviously, that they're really important. So you can participate in hackathons, design thinking challenges, entrepreneurial ecosystems. These are all found on campuses everywhere now. So it's really exciting times. And your connection to Rotary is going to help you a lot in building up these skills. Your training through the leadership presentations that I know that you've had through RIQ and its conference as well, they'll all help you build up these skills. So I just wanted to touch on Rotary because it really does provide a supportive environment and personal development skills aimed at all different age groups, and no matter what stage of work life you're at, there are always new skills that Rotary can offer, and it's an excellent way to learn the ins and outs of what's needed to be part of social innovation, which is really important for helping green the future. And that's especially important and exciting now that we have the 7th area of focus, which what that means is it opens up funding for projects designed specifically to support the environment. So yay, I can't wait to get started on that. And on that note, if you haven't already, you guys can join ESRAG. So ESRAG is the Environmental Sustainability Action Group. It's a global group of Rotarians, getting more and more sort of youth come on board as well, because it's free to join, and they've also linked the Climate Solutions Coalition, so you can see that logo there on the right, and that that was founded just last year. It's an international youth-led community of people that are inspired to help solve climate-related problems, and we need all types of verbs coming together to fix those as well. So there's definitely a spot for you there to start building out those skills some more, and also be involved with people like me that can help you sort of find your feet in that environment, about the environment. And the Climate Solutions Coalition, which is only for young people aged, I think, between 12 and 25. That's also free to join for you guys. And their campaigns are currently focused around 3 areas. So those are the transition to circular economy, conservation of biodiversity, and education and awareness. And best of all, yeah, like I said, membership is free. You can actually go to this website here and join up. So that's pretty exciting. And I guess, summing up with that, the combination of hard work and smart work, where you're actually, your overlying goal is something like supporting the environment, and that 7th area of focus now. Those things combined lead to really efficient work, and we need to be really efficient to get to the goals we need to get to for 2030. And why is that? It's to prevent further damage to the planet, basically, so we've all got a better future. So I guess a perfect thing to end on is, no matter what you want to do or what you end up doing in your work life, behind every great story of environmental action is a great person. And why can't that person be you? So here's my details. My email, my LinkedIn, the Facebook page to the Rotary Club I'm linked to, which is a really new concept. It's a bit like what you're doing in the RIQ. It's all online. We don't have set meetings though, like normal Rotary clubs, and we're actually based around these social causes, especially. So we've obviously we've mapped out some of the things us as members are really excited about, and that's Indigenous Australians, the environment, of course, and personal development and leadership, because most people in the club are, well, we're all under about, I think I'm probably the oldest, I'm 41, and there's a lot of people that have come from Rotaract and now are Rotarians in this club. So it's a brand new model. We're still figuring things out. And that's really exciting. So if you want to check out what we're doing in the future, friend us on Facebook. And I'll leave it there for questions.
Thank you so much, Miss Melanie. This has been such an inspirational presentation. I think especially for us, our generation is so into environmental sustainability and environment. So thank you so much. We have a couple of questions for you. If you guys want to ask something for her or any of our speakers today, please go to the Google form and then we will read all the questions. And if you would like to ask your question, you can unmute yourself after we finish with this that we already have. So we have Guilherme from Brazil that he asked, the environmental sustainability community in Rotaract that have been presented is open also for Interact members?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
Is the Rotaract group open for Interact members? Is that the question?
I think Guilherme means the community that you, like the RIQ, the action group and the coalition, is that open for Interact members? That's his question.
Yes, yep. Sorry. So you can join that from the age of 12. And the climate Solutions Coalition is for any kids attached to Rotarians, I think, as well. So it's not just people that are embedded already in an Interact or a Rotaract group, but people that are considered friends of Rotary. For SRAG, SRAG's a bit more tricky because I think if you're between the age of 17 and 25, you pay a small membership fee, but then you can join the Climate Solutions Coalition for free.
Awesome.
So if you're between 12 and 17, they're both free. And if you're between 17 and 25, I think you join SRAG, and then the other one's free.
Thank you. I hope, Guillermo, your question was answered. We also have another question from Lucila, who is in Argentina. She asked, what kind of environmental project can people do when they find fires, like the ones that you had in January? What you all did when the fire happened? Argentina is going through a situation like that. Like last year, they had a big fire, and it's causing so many problems. So she wants to ask you, what can we do?
So yeah, some of the Rotary clubs in communities that were affected by the fires are the best. They've been recognised as the best place to understand community needs. So there's been a lot of Rotary clubs in the city, for example, fundraising through barbecues or what have you, that have redirected their funds to those Rotary clubs that are situated in the townships that were affected. A lot of it, I think, has gone to sort of helping people rebuild their lives, and because we've had a lot of support. So we had a lot of international support, and there's several very well-known charities that are involved, and so they try not to step on each other's toes. And what we haven't had, and what I'm really interested in working on in my own club, is looking after the koalas that were burnt. I'm really passionate about that. I've already started working on that because we're in danger of having some pretty horrific fire conditions this coming summer as well. So and in New South Wales, where Sydney is located, it's a eastern state of Australia. Koalas researchers have just recently released some figures where they're expecting koalas to be extinct in that state by 2050, and I'm really passionate about making that not happen. In terms of what you could do in other areas around the world, I think it's talking to community members and seeing what they need, and that's where Rotary is really good, because it's in the community already. They can really understand the needs of the people and the pains of those people, and that's maybe another time I can talk to you about design thinking. And design thinking is all around understanding user needs of products, but you can apply that in many different ways, and there's huge application for that in social innovation and the service projects for Rotary. So I'm hoping to sort of get Rotary thinking in a design thinking way a little bit more, and I'd love to speak to you guys more about that, and maybe do a workshop for you to learn some of those skills. It would be great.
That will be awesome.
Yeah.
We will love it. We will work out with the time, I promise.
No worries.
So we have read the questions that we have in the Google form. Let's open up. If somebody has any questions that would like to ask personally, you can raise your hand in the Zoom thing, and we will give you the few minutes to ask your question. So if we don't have any more questions for you, thank you once again, like from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate that. It's so late for you, and thank you.
No problems.
We would love to hear more about design thinking and how we can, join that. How can we learn about that? We will.
Yeah, sure. Design thinking is learning by doing. So we'd have to do some activities. That's always really fun.
La otra no sé, como que la intermediaria, ¿cómo se dice?
All right. So
Okay.
thank you so much. Okay.
I hope you guys learned something new, and yeah, I might sign off now and go to bed. So thank you again for having me. It was a pleasure. It's fantastic to see you all here, and I really look forward to following what you're doing. I've been a youth director in Rotary for 2 years, so love this and have fun.
Thank you, Miss Melanie. I am gonna pass over right now to Daniel, who is gonna introduce our next speaker from Mauritius. They are gonna speak about how they react to the oil spill that happened in Mauritius a few weeks ago. So Daniel?
Hello everybody, good evening to all. So I'm really glad to introduce Hannah from Intra Club of Mahatma Gandhi Institute from Mauritius.
Greetings to you all. I hope you are all doing well. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Hannah and I am the president of the Intra Club of MGI. I am from Mauritius, which is a small island close to Madagascar in the Indian Ocean. So as all of you already know that our main focus today will be environmental concerns. Thus, I'd like to talk about one crisis we have been facing right now. Next slide, please. Many of you might already know that a stranded vessel lost its way and was found in our lagoons. It was a Japanese bulk carrier and it has leaked hundreds of tons of fuel oil in our seas. Since then, the Mauritian coast has broken apart. Those on the vessel actually lost signal and hence Mauritius was unaware of where it was actually heading and what we should do. The accident happened on the northeast of the island. The Wakasho ran aground on a coral reef on the 25th July 2020 with 4,000 tons of fuel, causing an ecological emergency and panic on the island. This was the most alarming oil spill we faced until now. As per the officials, most of the fuel had already been pumped out, but then the situation started to worsen and became at some point uncontrollable. At least 1,000 tons of oil is estimated to have leaked from the ship. Next one, please. Mauritius being a home to world-renowned coral reefs and known as a sanctuary for rare wildlife, there is an urge for us to curb this issue. Therefore, people from all over the island came together to work as a team and help extract maximum amount of oil from the sea. As our island don't have the necessary equipment to work on its own, we have asked for international help as well. There was the collection of hair, as many of you might already know that hair repels water and attracts oil, and the construction of floating booms which were used to solve the problem. The collection of hair was done by us, Mauritians itself. Those construction of floating booms were done in one of the most famous shopping malls of Mauritius by some associations and in some schools as well. To help, some of our instructors donated their hair at school, and then we collaborated with one well-known association called Natia in the fabrication of the floating booms, which was also used to remove oil from our seas. Next one, please. The authorities decided later on to sink the Wakasho about a week ago. However, soon after that, many dolphins were found dead on our beaches. The oil spill has already killed many of our mammals in our seas. As a result of this, we lost around 39 to 44 dolphins and whales last week. In this respect, as interactors and responsible citizens, we are trying our level best to save our environment. Next one, please. If you all want to keep up with our projects and activities, please join us on Instagram. We have our link just right there. And thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Hannah. We loved your pictures, the pictures of the Inner Club cleaning up the beach and trying to help the community. That was awesome. I will encourage you all to follow them on Instagram. They have great videos, great pictures, and perhaps we can find a way to help you out.
Thank you so much.
So we are gonna open up for some questions for them, for the club in Mauritius. If you have any questions, you can either go to the Google form, type it in the chat, or if you feel comfortable, you can raise your hand and unmute yourself and ask the question. Thank you so much, Hannah. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go ahead and pass to our last speaker. They are two different inner clubs in Mexico in the district 4130. They are from the Inner Club Ciudad Madero and Inner Club Regiomontano Valle Oriente. So they got together to present to us what they are doing in their district. We are gonna hear from Citlali Salas y Patricio Flores. Yeah, so you're welcome, guys. I think Daniel is gonna share the screen. So you're welcome, guys, to start your presentation.
Hello, everyone. We are happy and honored to be here with you today. As we all know, the Rotary 7th area of focus is the environment, which is why we're going to present some of our district projects during quarantine. My name is Patricio Flores. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico, and I'm past president of the Interact Club Regiomontano Valle Oriente.
Hi, my name is Citlali Salas, and I'm from Tampico. I'm the actual president of Interact Club Ciudad Madero, and we both belong to District 4130 in Mexico. Our district is always active in environmental projects, and we think it is necessary to always be helping.
Since we don't have a lot of time to present all of our projects, here are a few of them.
Thank you. Garden at home. Just like the name says, it consists of making your own garden at home. Taking care of the garden is much easier on your house, so we thought it was simpler to make it and also help everyone to stay at home. Having a garden is simple and also brings many benefits. The goal was to develop the conscience of organic crops, and the benefits are improving the air quality of the area and also grow knowledge and abilities to a more sustainable life.
Can we go to the next one, please? Thank you. The pet blocks. This project is kind of a different way of helping the environment. A pet block is a 2-liter plastic bottle filled with all the things that you cannot recycle, and then you press them. This way the trash will get tighter and the bottle will feel stronger. These pet blocks were donated to an organization which used them to build households for the people in need. We would be reusing this trash to find it a better use.
Pick Up Trash Challenge or Basura Challenge. This project simply consists on picking up trash on a river or any place near your city. Even though we might not clean the whole river, we did our part. And our motivation is to keep inspire others to do their part as well. We firmly believe that if each and every one of us help us with their own part, we can create a massive change. Also, it was amazing to find so many things in the river. Some things that we couldn't imagine how they got there. Taking care of the planet is our responsibility. It just depends on those who want to take action.
Reusable COVID mask. It's made with a plastic bottle, preferably a big one. And with it, you could make a face mask. This idea fits perfectly in the current situation we're living in. First, since we're reusing the plastic to make it into a face mask, this project is eco-friendly. Also, with COVID, it is indispensable to wear a face mask everywhere you go. So, instead of spending on a mask, we thought it was a good idea to find a better way to make your own mask and still be safe. This project was a benefit for all. We reduce waste, reuse materials, and it still keeps you safe.
Here are our Instagram accounts so you can follow us and to be in contact if you have doubts or you want to share ideas. And well, thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention.
Oh my God, guys, thank you so much. Love your presentation, love the things. Thank you so much. We are going to open up for questions or comments. I have seen recurrent people in our meeting, and I want to take this little moment to thank Mr. Roberto that was with us in last meetings. I just saw him. Thank you so much. The support from Rotarians is super important for us. Yeah, that I just wanted to make that little comment. So do we have any questions or comments for our friends from Mexico? You can either raise your hand or type it in the chat or go to the Google form.
I think our Rotarian Roberto wants to speak. You can unmute yourself.
All right.
If you want.
Thanks, Annie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Just want to say thanks. It's a pleasure to be again with you. Thanks to the kids from Mexico, from Mauricio, and to the guest speaker from Australia. It's very interesting, and just want to congratulate you for this initiative. I think it's the best way to use our actual scenery related with COVID and social distance, to use this type of platform. As immediate past district governor, we indeed did connect the world, as our President Mark Maloney said. So thank you very much. Keep on working, keep forward, best wishes, and see you in the next meeting. Hugs to all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Roberto, for your kind words and for being here.
And please, I'm just Roberto, okay?
All right.
Not that.
All right, I will. Do we we are almost in the end of the formal meeting. After this time, we will go ahead to our breakout sessions where you will have the opportunity to meet interactors and talk with interactors about environmental projects. Do we have any questions for our friends from Mexico or comments? I think
have a comment.
All right.
All the speakers, you were amazing in the clean beaching. It's amazing how you clean this beach with all the oil. And the people from Mexico, it's really interesting what you can do with such a simple thing that destroy our environment. You're all amazing, and the presentation was really good.
Yes, we are so glad to have the opportunity to meet you all. If we don't have any more if we don't have any questions for our friends, okay, we have a question. And okay, I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry, but the person who texted me who had a question, you can unmute yourself. You're welcome to unmute yourself. Well, you can text me privately and I will be more than happy to answer. We also got questions privately. How can you speak in our next meeting? You can go ahead to our website and sign up to be main speaker, and share your projects with everybody. That being said, we are gonna close the formal meeting right now, and we're gonna stop recording because we are gonna jump into our. All right, thank you everybody for joining today in our 9th meeting. We are looking forward to see you in our next meeting next Saturday, not this Saturday, like the other one, and in our training seminars. All the information is gonna be on social media and in our website. And yeah, thank you so much, and we see you. So Lucila is gonna start the breakout sessions in any time. So thank you, the ones that need to leave. Thank you for joining. If you wanna stay, you're welcome to stay, but see you.